I just listened to 2026 horoscopes for all signs, and you know what? Everything's going to be great. You're going to find the love of your life. You're going to come into unimaginable wealth, and everything's going to work out fine. Seriously? The universe isn't just out there, it's interacting with you. Claim your power by embracing the unknown. This is Tracy with Tracy Talks, and I'm here to ignite your curiosity. Don't just listen, embrace it. So I just spent some time today listening to year ahead horoscopes. And basically what that is an astrologer looks at the major transits for the year and how they're impacting your rising sign, what house they're showing up in, what planets are communicating with other planets, and how it's all going to interact for you. And they said the same thing that they pretty much say every single time I listen. There's a possibility of finding new love. There's money that's out there for you. You're going to have this new career. Your communications are going to be great. While there is some information that I find helpful because I understand my chart, so much of it is just garbage. All of our charts are individual. There is no way that somebody can do an overview that's actually going to represent what is going on in your life. There could be some themes that show up. There could be some heightened areas of importance. But overall, each of our charts are so different that there's no way there could be any accurate predictions. I did make a move today. I unfollowed one of the astrologers that I listened to. And you know how when you're in these relationships and the tension keeps growing, you continue to follow people, and over time, you don't feel as good when the podcast is over. You don't feel as good when the YouTube is over. And over time, this person has just seemed to get angrier. And I had it today. You know, when you're referring to all of your women listeners as bitches, and they're statistically more women than men listen to astrology podcasts. So right there alone, you're referring to most of your listeners as bitches. And he kind of laughed about it, and he kind of made some comment about how I need to stop doing that. And I reached a point today where it's like the negative information, the negative comments that he had been making are now completely overshadowing any information that I could extract from the 30-minute listen. But I can paraphrase for you of everything's going to be good. You just need to follow your intuition. You just need to, love is going to show up when you're not expecting it. There's potential for love, there's potential for money, and everything's going to be great. I've been getting increasingly frustrated with this type of astrology. Each one of these weekly updates or monthly updates or yearly updates really needs to start out with, this probably isn't going to pertain to you. And if it does, it is a miracle. Rarely is any of this going to impact you on a personal level because there are so many other layers of things that are happening in your personal chart. While you share a rising sign with someone or you share a sun sign with someone, you also have a moon sign, you have a Venus sign, you have a Mars sign, you have a Pluto sign, you have a Chiron sign, you have a midheaven, you have an IC, you have an ascendant and a descendant, and all of these points triangulate to create the very unique person that you are and the very unique chart that you have. And it feels like so many astrologers are actually doing a disservice when they put out these weekly updates and episodes. For the longest time, I identified with my sun sign, and that's all I knew. That's how I perceived myself as showing up in the world, was by my sun sign. It wasn't until I understood astrology that I realized this sun sign wasn't really how I was showing up in the world. It was a part of me. It was a layer of me. But I didn't associate with a lot of those Libran qualities out into the world. There are other planets in my chart that have more power at times because of the configuration. There are ways in which I communicate that overshadow the Libran desire to be fair and equitable. It is my belief that people who really want to understand what is happening in their life and what is of the most important right now, to have someone that is trusted go over the chart specifics with them. There are a lot of astrologers who are specifically teaching people to read their chart so that they don't have to rely on an astrologer to do that for them. And while that does sound good to some degree, there are just some things that are in my chart that are happening to me that I think we're still blinded to that. We don't always see the situation and what is happening objectively. And it's not until someone sees something or connects what is happening that we have greater understanding and awareness of what actually is happening. When I've had readings with astrologers who practice medieval or astrology, not modern day astrologers, there are layers of information about me and my characteristics that have unlocked parts of me that I was unaware of. And these are just subtle nuances in the way that I move through the world at times, and how it's like these innate strengths that we have in our chart. And oftentimes these abilities we don't even notice in ourselves because they're so natural. We come by them with ease, and it's just basically part of our DNA. And oftentimes those characteristics we don't even see as extraordinary because they are very natural to us. And it isn't until someone points out these qualities or how we show up or how we communicate that it connects the dots and it connects information within ourselves. I've talked about this before, but I have something in me that I am a person who rearranges furniture. And for so long, it was kind of a joke. It was this thing that I did that I would get this uneasy feeling in me that I needed to make changes. And I didn't understand what that feeling was. And I didn't have a direction. So this natural desire in me was to move furniture. And then once I would move the furniture and I would rearrange everything in the house, then my life was well again. And that's okay if you are someone who doesn't live with anybody else. That was not the case at the time. I was living with a house full of people who did not have the same design as I do. They didn't have the need to rearrange everything. They didn't have the need to deconstruct the whole environment and reconstruct it again. It was very upsetting to everyone else in the household. It wasn't until I had an astrologer who was giving me just a general reading and made the comment about rearranging furniture. And a light bulb went off in me that, based on the information in a chart, she basically confirmed that I rearrange furniture. And if I changed a couple of things in my life, instead of rearranging furniture, I could create art. I could do something else. Ultimately, what that meant was, when I was not channeling my energy into something, into writing, into painting, into some sort of creativity, into baking, even cooking, when I didn't have a specific outlet for my energy, I found one. I found it through rearranging furniture. This was a huge moment for me. That all of these things that we do on a daily basis, and sometimes this one specific thing had a hold over me. I saw it as a negative. I got negative feedback for it. I felt better for it. And it wasn't actually creating something of lasting substance. Astrology isn't this thing that is going to give you your twin flame, your perfect partner, the money, the fame, the notoriety, the love. And I think in our current world and climate, we see so much of these images of wealth. And a lot of people are seeking that and are hoping that astrology is going to be this missing key. It's going to have all of these missing puzzle pieces, and it's going to tell me, how do I get those things that I actually want? And that's where these year ahead horoscopes are coming from. Oh my God, you're going to have love. You're going to have the love of your life, and you're going to do this, and you're going to be great, and you're going to have all of this success in your career. Your 10th house is lit up, and all of this mumbo jumbo. And I want to just post on some of these comment sections, say how many of you have actually had the love of your life show up in this way? Very few of us. I think astrology is a wonderful tool. It shows me when I am going to be highly excitable or agitated. It shows me moments when I will be able to communicate with ease. It shows me moments when I can focus on my health, or I can focus on my relationships. It shows me when I have opportunities to work inside of my home and build a lasting foundation. Or it shows me times when I am seeking out higher knowledge and understanding. Rarely does astrology show you where you're going to meet the love of your life. There are indications of possible opportunities for that. There are no guarantees, because there are so many different layers of information that are communicating with each other. Everybody wants more love. Everybody wants more money. Everybody wants the best things that they can manifest into their life. But sometimes it's important to recognize that we all don't come in with the same set of skills and understanding and awareness. We aren't here to do the same things. And 1 year ahead horoscope for your rising sign is not going to give you a nuanced understanding of what is actually going to unfold for you into the next year. And if you listen to any of the full moon predictions for January 3rd, I mean, those were stellar for everyone. I hope each of you picked up on my sarcasm there for that undertone. We all want the best, and I hope 2026 is a great year for you. And if you're truly interested in knowing what's ahead for you, maybe reach out to an astrologer and get a reading and see what's highlighted in this next year for you. Because when you work with astrology, you understand that it doesn't follow a calendar year, but your birthday to birthday is the year that you're working in and with. Our natural cycles don't fall from January 1st to December 31st. They just don't. I was listening to somebody about this week between Christmas and New Year's and how it's like this no man's land of time. Nothing really gets done during this period. Nothing of major importance is scheduled, is facilitated. And I hope each and every one of you find some time here in the next few days just to relax, regroup, center, and ground, and take the time to have a break. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook at More Tracy Talks. And until next time, we meet again.